Strange lights have started showing up over Florida, and one sighting has pushed everything into new territory.
There, right up there.
Oh my God, look, it's triangular in shape. What is it?
Oh my God, I don't know.
I'm scared.
A man caught a silent craft drifting above his neighborhood, glowing with cold blue light. The air around it looked charged, almost like static. It didn't wobble or drift. It just watched. Then it shot off so fast, the camera barely caught the blur. This isn't the first sighting this month, and scientists have stopped pretending they understand what's going on. Let's look at what happened.
Are we being visited by the UFOs?
Strange lights spotted in Florida. Residents in a quiet Florida community were stunned this week after a massive triangular craft was seen hovering silently in the night sky, prompting widespread debate, official curiosity, and a flood of online theories. The incident occurred shortly after 10 p.m., when several witnesses reported noticing an unusual formation of lights approaching from the western horizon. As the object drew closer, its shape became unmistakable. According to the witnesses, the craft was distinctly triangular, with a dark outline cutting sharply against the faint glow of the night sky. What captured the attention the most was the lights beneath it. The strange blue lights were pulsating and rhythmic, arranged in a geometric pattern that seemed far too deliberate to be accidental. Some witnesses described seeing a second outline below the main craft. It was a faint but discernible mirrored triangle that appeared to match the upper structure's movements. The formation gave the impression of a double-layered or dual-structured design. This detail quickly became one of the most heavily debated features of the sighting. Equally unsettling for witnesses was the atmosphere itself. Many people on the ground reported feeling an unusual static in the air, and this was similar to the tension felt before a thunderstorm breaks. The temperature and weather conditions were normal at the time of the sighting, and that's what made it even weirder. Individuals closest to the event described a subtle, electric sensation that accompanied the craft's presence. One witness said the air felt alive, while another described it as a pressure, like the sky was holding its breath. After hovering for several moments, the craft reportedly shifted upward before disappearing without noise. This detail deepened the mystery surrounding its propulsion and origin. Hours after the footage began appearing online, residents in the same area reported an unusual number of unmarked black helicopters flying low across the region. It seemed like military helicopters, moving in grid-like patterns, sweeping across neighborhoods and wooded areas before eventually departing. No official government agency acknowledged the helicopter activity, but several videos captured by locals show at least 3 helicopters circling the vicinity, where the triangular craft and strange lines were filmed. The situation became even more curious because the original uploader of the viral footage deleted their account without any explanation. Many people tried to locate the video, but they found out that it had been removed from major platforms within hours, leading to speculation from government intervention to personal fear. But the authorities have not issued a formal statement, and the question now is what the government is covering up. This reminds us of another viral video causing scientists to scratch their heads, where a disc UFO was found over the city of Kurdistan. Disc UFO over Kurdistan City. A mysterious disc-shaped object filmed over Kurdistan City in September 2022 has resurfaced in public debate after several residents recently revisited the footage. This has brought up a lot of questions about whether it was a hoax or a real UFO. The incident unfolded late one evening when multiple people across different neighborhoods captured a video of what appeared to be a large metallic saucer moving steadily through the night sky. The footage was uploaded to Instagram and immediately shared widely across social media platforms. It shows a smooth, circular craft rotating slowly as it moves forward, Under the object, there were several dim lights, which can be seen flickering in a pattern that doesn't match any known aircraft lighting configuration. What surprised the world, and even the residents who were recording the UFO, was that it looked nothing like a normal UFO. Instead, it had no exhaust plume, wings, rotor blades, propellers, or even a trace of smoke or sound. All of these are features that you find in human-made aircraft, drones, and helicopters. Residents who saw the event in person described a sense of disbelief as the craft glided overhead. Many claimed that the object appeared larger than a normal aircraft, with a clearly defined saucer-like structure as it went through the night sky. As the craft moved, it maintained a stable, controlled motion despite the fact that it was spinning. This makes it obvious that this was an advanced flight technology, far beyond anything known to be human-made. After the initial sighting, the video gained rapid traction online, attracting the attention of locals and international UFO enthusiasts, aviation experts, and skeptics. Some observers noticed that the footage might show a sophisticated drone or military prototype, while others insisted the object's movements were too fluid and its structure was too unconventional to fit such explanations. Some skeptics have raised the possibility that the video could have been fabricated or digitally altered, but the theory has been rejected by those who revealed that numerous residents were seen simultaneously pointing their phones toward the sky that night. Eyewitness clips from different angles also corroborate the object's presence, causing many to question what exactly hundreds of people were filming if the event was a hoax. The consistency across multiple videos, each showing the same spinning disk at the same altitude and trajectory, shows that the UFO sighting was definitely real. Even after years of this UFO sighting, it still remains one of the most widely discussed UFO sightings in the area. But back to Florida, there has been a high volume of sightings in the state, increasing the interest of experts. High volume of UFO sightings in Florida. Florida continues to emerge as one of the most active U.S. states for UFOs, with the volume of reports prompting popular curiosity and official interest. The National UFO Reporting Center has logged more than 8,300 sightings in Florida since 1974, placing the state second only to California in total reports. In 2024 alone, Florida registered over 60 reported incidents, according to press counts of New4C data. That number is especially noteworthy because each sighting reflects a person or multiple witnesses who saw something that looked completely different from known aircraft, drones, meteorological events, or celestial phenomena. Certain Florida cities stand out for the frequency of reports. For instance, the Orlando area has recorded nearly 400 reported sightings since 1955, making it the top metropolitan region in the state for such events. There have been different kinds of sightings, from disks and triangles to strange lights and odd craft moving through the sky. But some skeptics say that this doesn't mean aliens are dominating the region. Instead, it simply means that there are clearer skies, or they are close to aerospace and military activity. But how can they explain the fact that many of these cases remain unresolved and they can't explain what it is? This is just like the strange UFO that was spotted in Cove Springs in 2025. Cove Springs UFO 2025. On the afternoon of March 22, 2025, at about 4 p.m., residents of Cove Springs in northeast Florida looked skyward only to witness an airborne object that quickly defied normal explanation. The unusual craft hovered silently just west of US 17 and south of Harbor Road, an area roughly 30 miles south of downtown Jacksonville. The dark object maintained a seemingly stationary position at a moderate altitude. Then, almost imperceptibly, it started to morph, transforming from one form to another. Some describe the craft as resembling a turtle shell, others a disk with an inner white-rimmed outline. It rotated slowly, changed orientation, and then drifted southeast before vanishing from view. Most strikingly, the object made no sound. Those on the ground also noticed that nearby traffic or regular aircraft produced oral cues, whereas this strange craft didn't. The timing of the event was at the same time as a training exercise announced by Naval Air Station Jacksonville to happen on that same date. The base was located about 15 miles away from where the UFO sighting happened, so some suspected that the UFO was from there. But the object looked nothing like a normal aircraft. It had features inconsistent with conventional military or commercial aircraft. There was no propulsion noise, wings, or rotors, and the strange geometry raised deeper questions than normal training might provoke. The video quickly spread online, and so did speculation. Some witnesses suggested that the object might be an atmospheric anomaly, or a balloon, projection, or a flight test that the public didn't know about. But looking at the multiple witness angles and the footage's consistency pointed towards something more extraordinary. The local authorities didn't issue a formal confirmation or explanation, and experts are still investigating the sighting and where it came from. This sighting was just as credible as another strange UFO spotted by a flight crew near Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale Flight Crew Spots UFO. A flight crew returning to Fort Lauderdale after a trip high over the Bahamas encountered what they described as a strange, glowing object at altitude. The crew consisted of 2 pilots and a flight attendant on a private jet. But then they received an alert from Miami Air Traffic Control, which asked, "We have a foreign object. Can you please identify it?" When the flight attendant looked out, the object appeared as white light at first, but then it shifted to a greenish hue. It was almost like it had an electric field around it. The object hovered and moved erratically alongside the aircraft for about 45 minutes, while the jet was cruising at roughly 43,000 to 45,000 feet. The crew saw the object above their altitude, making rapid changes in direction that seemed inconsistent with drones or weather balloons. One of the pilots apparently saw 3 lights, but the flight attendant only managed to capture one on her phone through the window. During the encounter, the object's behavior, including its color shift, altitude, and movement, defies conventional aircraft patterns. The UFO was very strange, and the footage was captured as part of proof, so the crew admitted that they didn't have any idea of what they saw. The object was astonishing, and they couldn't explain what they saw. The sighting has drawn attention for its strange characteristics, but also because of the environment. It was spotted on the radar and also seen by multiple people. It was also caught on camera, more than enough proof for anyone that was questioning the sighting. The government couldn't give an official explanation for what they saw, and the event has been called an unexplained aerial phenomenon. The video and accounts are circulating online, raising questions about what the object might have been and who or what was behind it. Gulf Breeze UFO. On November 11, 1987, the small coastal community of Gulf Breeze, Florida, became the center of one of the most famous and controversial UFO episodes in U.S. history. That evening, local contractor Ed Walters claimed to have witnessed a strange craft hovering roughly 200 feet above the road outside his home. He described the object as silent and uncanny, like something out of a Spielberg movie. Walters rushed inside, got his Polaroid camera, and captured 5 images of the mysterious object. Those photos, under the pseudonym Mr. X, were published on November 19th in the local weekly newspaper, triggering a wave of public fascination. In the weeks and months that followed, more than 100 residents of Gulf Breeze and surrounding areas came forward with their own sightings. Reports ranged from glowing discs and cylindrical craft to glowing light beams and silent hovering objects over treetops or water. One resident, who was a city council member, said she saw a large illuminated object twice above the bay in the spring of 1988. Another witness remembered that there was a disc-shaped airplane with no wings floating silently over a pier. For several months, investigators were looking into the sightings, and it defied conventional explanation. The craft sometimes emitted a strange blue beam that briefly paralyzed him, and on one occasion he claimed that the object had landed. Even weirder, it deposited some beings on the ground. He even experienced telepathic communication and odd experiences like missing time and lingering mysterious liquid traces after the craft released some substance. But the UFO sighting took a dramatic turn when a styrofoam and cardboard model resembling the UFO in Walters's photos was found hidden in the attic of the house he had formerly occupied. Some wondered if he came up with what he saw, while others thought he made the model after the UFO was spotted. Walter claimed he didn't make it, and that the model was planted after he moved out. Despite this, there were many other independent eyewitness reports aside from what Walters saw, so the UFO sighting can't be dismissed as a local hoax. Investigators focus on the volume of witnesses and the proof. Even 3 decades after this sighting, the UFO incident remains one of the most striking cases in Florida. Meanwhile, about 2 decades before that, there was another sighting in southern Florida. South Florida, 1967. On the night of March 31, 1967, southern Florida air defense radar operators at Homestead Air Force Base and a nearby Army radar site near Key West Naval Air Station tracked 8 unidentified aerial objects over coastal South Florida for roughly 4 hours. The UFOs maintained 2 distinct flight zones, one off the east coast near Miami and a second just south of the Florida mainland, north of the Keys. At least one veteran radar crew member later said that they saw a luminous object speeding at what appeared to be meteor-like velocity, yet it flew level and maintained a steady altitude. It had a behavior at odds with meteoric paths. Eyewitness testimony from military personnel confirms that the object's radar signatures suggested physical craft, at sizes between 31 and 100 feet across. Some witnesses looking into the sky also found that it matched the radar tracks, and the local radio stations received calls from civilians who had seen strange aerial lights. But the incident was even more troubling when the military tried to hunt the UFO down. But the object evaded both radar pursuit and aerial interception attempts. U.S. military jets and even Cuban MiG-21s scrambled in response to radar warnings. The intercepted jets, guided by Cuban ground radar toward one of the UFOs, described it as a bright metallic sphere with no wings or tail. The jets tried to engage the UFO, but they failed. In fact, the lead MiG-21 disappeared under fire, leaving no wreckage, while radar coverage tracked the unknown object accelerating away. It was moving at speeds beyond conventional jet aircraft, and then, before their eyes, it climbed up into the sky rapidly before it disappeared. Decades after the 1967 events, investigators have been unable to identify the objects. Everyone is still asking, what were these objects? How close did the military get? And why is there no explanation? But in 1944, there was another sighting, where they spotted a black cylindrical object in the sky. Black cylindrical object, 1944. On July 15, 1944, residents of Tampa, Florida, reported the earliest documented UFO sighting in the state. It was a black cylindrical object seen amid P-38 fighter aircraft engaged in aerial maneuvers. The description of the UFO was later revealed decades later through the NUFORC. The object suddenly appeared over the P-38s near Lowry Park and hovered for 3 or 4 minutes before executing several abrupt maneuvers and rapidly flying off. Two brothers witnessed the encounter while observing a military exercise. Suddenly, as the P-38s ceased their dog-fighting formation, the black cylindrical object suddenly appeared above them. It looked like a big piece of pipe, and the object didn't match any conventional aircraft known to the observers. It lacked visible wings, windows, propellers, or a tail, all of which are expected to be seen in a World War II-era aircraft. Eyewitnesses said the object remained motionless for several minutes before performing swift, controlled movements and disappearing from sight at an extraordinary speed. The object disappeared too quickly, moving way faster than any standard aircraft, even the P-38s themselves. Because the sighting happened during wartime and was reported at a time when restricted military activity and heightened air patrols were common, some observers speculated the object could have been a secret government prototype or a foreign reconnaissance craft. The mysterious UFO in America was filmed in Florida and looked just like a spacecraft gliding through the sky, with its lights below it. Many other similar UFOs have been spotted in Florida, attracting questions about the skies and what's happening beyond the planet. Which of these sightings is the most credible? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. So, thanks for watching this video, and we will see you in the next one.